Welcome to another edition of the Tiger Football Report. I'm your host, Spiro Marikas, along with the head coach of the Tigers, Rab Ambrose. And due to unforeseen circumstances, we are not in our studio today, but we are here. And that's a good thing, sir.
It's a very good thing. Anytime I get to hang out with you, Spiro, even if it's virtual.
Well, Coach, you got the victory 14-13 against Bucknell. And Isaiah Perkins was named the CAA Rookie of the Week, or Freshman of the Week. Had a great game and had the key catch of the football game. You had 4th and 8 down at around the 19-yard line?
Something like that. Mm-hmm.
And you decided not to kick the field goal, but to go for it. What went through your thinking there, and how close were you to making the other decision?
I wasn't close at all. But you have to learn overtime rules and how to deal and try and win overtime. It has to do with what your series is. It's not just about scoring a point. It's about how to win the overtime. And the first thing you want to do is be on defense. It's a flip of a coin. You win or lose, but you want to be on defense first. You want to put the pressure on the other team. Unfortunately, we had to go on offense first. And I knew we had to score a touchdown, period. That was just the case. The last kick field goal we had, it had been blocked. And that's a pretty big upper for them and a pretty big downer for us. And it's a confidence loss. And knowing full well that if they came back to do this, that this might be a slugfight. We had to keep going for more than one overtime, and a field goal wasn't going to get it done. So if you go back and look at the statistics in the NCAA, you go to overtime statistics, the team that is on offense first that kicks a field goal loses like 69% of the time or something like that. So it really wasn't a thought. And to be honest, I was completely confident that we were going to execute and get that done. We had a good play call, and kids got it done.
Diggy with a great throw and Perkins with a great catch to lead to the touchdown. Devin Matthews went over 100 yards rushing. He had 2 touchdowns, a great rushing performance. I mentioned during the broadcast, kind of pales in comparison to the rushing game that Tony Vincent had at Bucknell 30 years ago, where he had 364 yards. But, a $114 is good.
Okay. Are we going to rehash the Tony Vincent 300-yard rushing?
Well, every time I go to Bucknell, that's what I think of is that game where he rushed for 364 yards.
Well, he had rushed for 200 and something, and we're winning, and I'm on the headsets, and we're going to pull him out. And Jay Robinson's the offense coordinator, and I'm upstairs in the box. And one of the stat guys runs upstairs to me and he goes, Coach, he's like 20 yards away from getting 300 he was 4 yards away from getting 300. That's what it was. And so we left him in for one more play. And I think he went 80 yards or 70 yards for a touchdown. And like, well, he got 300. I'm like, all right, we're going to pull him out now. And then the kid comes back upstairs and goes, okay, now he's like 28 yards away from 400. We're like, no, we're not leaving with the ball game. No, I don't think Bucknell, I think Tony Vincent lives in Bucknell history.
He sure does, especially in that stadium, because it was quite a performance. Defensively, your team was fantastic for 3 quarters. What happened in the 4th quarter that all of a sudden Bucknell was able to move the ball down the field?
Well, it's good. It's the good and the bad of having, we went back and looked at this. There's approximately 40%, maybe a little bit less than 40% of the entire team that had never played a game in a Tiger uniform. And of that 40%, like 10 to 15% of those guys who've never played a college football game. So to have those guys meld together as well as they did for as long as they did was actually an extremely big time positive. 2 critical mental errors, and gave up big plays. That's it. And while I'm thoroughly annoyed at the 2, I'm thoroughly impressed with the rest. That when you're opening a game in any league at any time against any opponent, and the word shutout is actually in the conversation realistically, yeah, you got to be pretty pleased with your defensive effort. There's stuff we got to work on, but we hustled to the football. We played a ton of guys. We haven't played 26 guys, maybe. I played a ton of guys. And defensively, I think we only played 67 reps. So we should be okay fresh legs wise. Offensively, man, we got a heck of a lot of experience. 97 reps in your opening game. and you get to overtime. So you get an opportunity to actually challenge yourself and learn how to win an overtime scenario, which, I can put it on practice and we can talk about it. But until you go do it and you understand what it actually is, I believe the next time these kids go in an overtime situation, they're going to have complete. They were confident Saturday. I think they'll be more confident from here on out.
Now, at halftime, when Ben Rosenbaum was interviewing, you talked about all the mental mistakes you were making on offense in the first half. I guess for a coach, the best news for you is you got a victory, but you can still keep everybody's attention because there were a lot of mistakes left. So they know that they still have a lot to learn.
Ton to work on, like ton to work. But that you want to be a good team in September, better team in October, and a great team in November and beyond. And that is a building process. So yeah, the resiliency of the group that is so natural and positive is the thing that really does stick with me. Tyler Johnson blows his knee out. He has surgery. He has surgery this week. He will have surgery this week. Jabari Allen, the voice, the old man, the cat, leader. He's going to have surgery this week. Those two kids are done. And we had a week to adapt to that. Nobody blinked. Next man up. Not a problem. Tailback number 1, tailback number 2 can't play in this game. You go to the opening game with your number 3 tailback is your starter. Number 4 is injured, and you have 5 and 6 that can play. Thoroughly, your run game is in question going into that game. Could not be more pleased with how these guys just stepped up and took it in stride. Coaches as well. We go to kickoff. We're going to get the ball. I got the headset on. They're calling a plays from upstairs. They tell me the power's out and the headsets don't work. We got to call a game from the field in a heartbeat. No preparation in doing this whatsoever. Didn't miss a beat. Drove from wherever to wherever till we jumped off sides on 4th and 1 while we're driving to score. Which is, it happens. And, and it happens in the first game and then it never happens again. So there's just so many little things that clearly, hindered us a little bit, but our attitude and effort was just so ridiculously outstanding. Here's a bunch of guys that never played ball together that the offense is, kicking itself in the foot every now and then. And the defense is like, nah, don't worry about it. We got this. And then we give up 2 monster plays on defense. And the offense is like, yeah, don't worry about it. We got this. And we go down and score. They score. And everybody's on the sideline said, don't worry about it. We'll go to the next overtime. We got this. And that doesn't happen with a bunch of guys who never met each other. And there's something about this group that's going to have a chance to be special.
All right. Well, this group is going to take on Morgan this Saturday at Johnny Unitas Stadium at 7 p.m. Always great to have these two schools play. I know you're a big advocate that this game should definitely be played every season.
Every season. And I think it always should have been. I think it always should be. I think it should be one of those caveats that's written in to, this is Baltimore's chance to be Division I football day. And it's not the state's chance, it's Baltimore's chance. And this is where all the fans, all the people get a chance to look at the greatness of these two awesome institutions. The spotlight is shined on them. And it just happens to be because of football. I think it's a great thing. The only game I would not want played in this stadium would be this game, because there are so many darn fans that it can't hold either one of our stadiums, and we hold it downtown. I truly believe in that.
Well, it will be at Johnny Unitas Stadium this week, though. And, Morgan's coming in, losing to Georgia Southern 56-7. But they ran the ball very well, 172 yards rushing, and Alfonso Graham averaged 7.6 yards a carry, 106 yards. They never got the passing game going, but obviously they were able to move the ball on the ground.
Against a very big, physical, fast, and deep Georgia Southern team. I'm thoroughly impressed with what I've seen on film from them. Coach Wilson is a damn good coach. He's done a great job at Bowie. I think he is the perfect hire for Morgan. I think they finally figured out that they just need a good football coach who cares, and he doesn't want to be a stepping stone job. He wants to be here, and you can tell how just watching how the kids play and comparing film from a year before. They are an entirely different Morgan team. Any of your preconceived notions of them should be thrown out the door. They're incredibly talented. Their back seven, their back end on defense are all 1A. The lowest guy's like a 3-star for you guys that love that stuff. Like, they're big time transfer dudes. They got a ton of them, and they're really, really talented. And honestly, in all the years I've been involved with Towson and worked to coach against Morgan, I don't know if I can recall a time where they run the ball better than they have right now. And that's a heady statement. So they got a great run game. And if I say the passing game didn't get going, I can tell you from experience, it's way better than it was a year ago. This is a different game.
And you mentioned the secondary. Jordan Tolles had a 50-yard interception return for a touchdown. So their only points came from that secondary.
Right. So, they're big, they're strong, they're fast, they're talented, and they're way more experienced, way more experienced guys there. So it's going to be fun, man. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, don't you want to be entertained? You know what I mean? Like, are you not entertained? This is football season. Let's go. And nothing's better than having the local guys go at it.
Your situation at quarterback, you started Scott Smith and then you moved on to Pigrom. What went through your decision there? And was Scott a little nervous there in his first start?
Scott did some good things. He did some really, really good things, some natural good things, and he did some natural dumb things. And for a first time starting your college football game, the game moves pretty fast. It took a sack in the red zone that just took us out of, chance of scoring any points. And we went through a couple bad plays in a row, which as a quarterback, and it's whether it's your fault or not, it's your fault. You're the quarterback. It's your job to handle this with your guys. And we knew we were going to play both, just in general. After Tyler went down, we knew we were going to play both. And then it was going to basically be the guy with the hot hand. And that's how we would go. And not saying that Scott played bad, but Terrell actually gives us a little bit. Scott actually ran the ball and converted a third down. I might have done it twice. And while he does that, there's a dynamic aspect that both of them can throw, but Terrell's got a dynamic aspect to him that it's a little bit special. So, where we're going into it this week, I think it's a little bit of both again. And, we're still recouping from the loss of Tyler. That, Nathan Kent's got to work his way into that because as we found out with the tailback position, you never know when your number's going to get called. And you could, and the perfect example, and I think I did a press conference today, and I said, you should take this story and give it to every kid in America. Every kid. Doesn't matter what level that you play on. I want to be the starter. I want to be the starter. No, that's not, everybody wants to be the starter, and there's only one ball. Work your face off. Be the best you can be, no matter what. Prepare to be a starter. Don't worry about the rest of it. Just do your best. Keep growing because you don't know when your number is going to be called. Connor Frazier didn't know when his number was going to be called, and he led his team to the national championship in the fourth quarter. Devin Matthews was the third string tailback going into this week and rushed for over 100 yards. You never know when your number is going to be called. So stop worrying about what everybody says and just do the work, be the best you can be, and watch the results happen.
Last thing, your offensive line is not experienced together. How do you feel they fared during Saturday's ball game?
Moments of, damn, they can be really, really good. And then moments of, and we, played a bunch of guys. We're still rolling guys in. Mason Chalina is a two-way player. He's playing defensive nose guard, and he's playing guard for us. And that's out of a little bit out of a necessity, but also out of talent. And it'd be dumb to waste talent. So especially a guy who's that old, that experienced, and that strong. I'd say the offensive line's still a work in progress. There's moments of greatness, but not enough consistency and continuity for us to be thoroughly successful. To be able to drive, have 3 12-play drives in a game. We're just not there yet.
Well, Coach, we thank you for your time. We will see you on Saturday night and see you again here next week for the next edition of the Tiger Football Report.
Thank you. I'd like to say thanks for everybody that made it to Bucknell game, and I look forward to seeing everybody this weekend.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you again next week.